Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Mel Hartley. I'm a former shopaholic who is now on a journey to financial wellness. Today, I just want to talk about something that has been on my mind for a really long time, and I just really want to get it off of my chest, and I hope to start a dialogue about how to solve America's debt problem. Because realistically, this has been an issue long before the pandemic. We need the government to step in and start helping us and help us when there's economic changes, and they just need to stop supporting and promoting irrelevant traditions. All the factory workers who are putting together the products that we use on a daily basis, jobs that require manual labor, they're going to be replaced one day with robots, and I fully support this. I just think that this is the direction that we're headed in. I think it's about time that we stop forcing people into these jobs because A, they don't pay very well, and B, they're very, very high risk to health and safety. Mining jobs, jobs that involve toxic chemicals, these are all incredibly dangerous, and the fact that technology hasn't been invented to have robots and AI completely replace this is baffling to me. You don't have to pay robots. If they break or get damaged, they don't have a robot family that they need to support financially or that will miss them. People do. But the inanimate objects do all the heavy lifting because we won't have to. But then the question is, if robots are doing all these jobs, then what will be left for the people? And there's so much growth happening on a regular basis in this country, and this whole thing with working from home, and so many companies are now adapting to working from home and working remotely, and it just proves that we can be very adaptable to drastic changes. We did not see any of this coming, prior to, I guess it was kind of coming out there like November, December of last year, so I guess some people saw it coming, but before that it was just totally, for me, it was totally out of the blue. I wasn't expecting a virus to, I guess some people were saying that we were about due for a virus or whatever, but all in all, it was just kind of coming out of nowhere. We need to start making these adjustments. We need robots to do all the heavy lifting and all the hard manual work so that humans can do the jobs that robots just can't do. And there's still so many jobs out there for people, but there's not enough education, there's not enough spotlight on some of these other opportunities. You take people who are from a small town, all they really know is farming or factory work or whatever it is, the main source of income from that area, and that's all that they really think might be out there for them. They're not realistically thinking that's what is out there for them, obviously with the internet, but some people, it's crazy to think that some people don't have internet in this stage, but some people still don't have as much technology that most Americans take for granted. Some people still have to go to the library to get internet connection, and that's, they might not have a computer at home or tablets and all this technology that, or a lot of people are very spoiled, and then there's the people who don't have much, and those are the people that it really breaks my heart that they don't know what they don't know. And just being able to provide resources, I think the government should really step in and help people. Like, there's more to it than just this. And a lot of these jobs, like, they're risking their health, their mental health, their safety for not a lot of pay, and they're so desperate to hold on to that because that's all that they really have, all they think that they have the option to. And there is so much more out there that, you know, if they just knew how to get a hold of that, I think it would change things for the better for these people. I personally think that instead of just packing people into four-year university, I think that we need to be weighing out the options. And like, my high school was great because I got to explore a ton of different career opportunities and options before I was even 18, and I really felt a lot of pressure because I grew up in the time thinking that you get one career and you do that for till you're like 60, 65, whatever, and then you retire and then you die. And now I'm on my 5th career change, and I'm only in my early 30s, and there's so much that I went to like a regular high school for 1 year, and I don't remember them ever even talking about like, oh, you could start a business, there's technical, vocational colleges, there's other options, certificates. I knew about, I actually went to beauty school, and I knew about, that kind of a thing, and I actually got my real estate license, I guess like a couple years after high school. But other than that, but that wasn't something that I don't even remember where I heard. I think I was exploring that like in my other high school, and I don't really even remember how I started learning about real estate, but it's just not something that is discussed. It's just like, you get good grades so you can go to college, and colleges, like, that's a whole other topic, is unless you're going to be like a doctor or a nurse or a lawyer, if you don't know that that you have a specific profession that requires that full, like, really extended education programs, and you don't know what you want to do, that's a very, very, very expensive way to try to figure it out, and most people don't, because you're not in the real world. You're on a college campus where it's like adult high school. You're not in the real world. You're not getting real world experience. You're not with, there are like some people who go to college at an older age, but for the most part it's like 18 to 22 year olds, and that's just not how the world is. The world is lots of different ages from all over the place, and there's so much that you can learn from real world experience. And I think internships and there's nothing that can beat just real world experience and like getting out there. And I'm just ready for a change. I'm ready for things to be different, for things to be better. I'm really sad that for some reason, maybe it's just fear, the government is just holding on so desperately to these old school ways of how things used to be, and it's just, the country has grown so big. There's so many more people than when the country first started, and it's really hard to, obviously, you're not gonna please everybody. It's impossible. There's millions and millions of people in just America alone, let alone the world. But I just think that our way of thinking, our way of life, especially in America, is just very, a lot of people think it's, millennial hippie talk or whatever, but I want to have a good life. I want to have a life that I can look back one day and be like, yeah, like I did all the things that I wanted to do. I have pushed off a lot of things in my personal life because my professional life wasn't going the way that I wanted it to, and it's taken me, I've been working a really long time. I started working when I was like a kid, basically, and I already have like 20 plus years kind of like on and off. I knew I wasn't working like full time or anything when I was a kid, but I just want a better life, and I want opportunity. And I was always, you're taught that if you work really hard and you're honest and you do the right thing and this and that, you'll get a good job and get good pay and all this stuff. And granted that like I did do a lot of things differently. I wanted to own a business, but I didn't have any training. I didn't have the money or the grades to be able to get into, a good business school. And by the time I graduated high school, well, technically on time, but kind of a year early. It's weird, but I was just so ready to be done. I wanted to be free, and I tried to get emancipated when I was 16 because I was just done. I wanted to start working, and so the thought at that age when I graduated of going to more school was just literally the last thing I would have rather had gone to prison at that point. I was so done with school, and so it's just the lies that we're told about how your life should go, and if you do this and you follow this formula, things will be fine. That's not realistic anymore. That's just not how things are in the real world anymore. There's just so many things that have changed since I was in high school, and you have to be adaptable, and I've tried over the years, and I don't want to call it failed, because I always learn from things that my business opportunities or business ventures that don't work out. I always learn from all of those, but it's exhausting to not see results, and I never expected them to happen overnight, or even in a year or two. But the thing is, I've been paying my dues, over a decade now, as being self-employed, and it could, there's other variables factored in there, but I think just the lack of education on owning a business and just all the things that you need to know to be a good adult, to adult properly. I was just clueless, and I kind of had to figure it out as I went along, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's had to struggle with that. this is my little rant for the week. I've been kind of in a weird place with everything going on, so I'm only doing one video this week, but I will post another video over the weekend. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you think of what I just shared? Where do you think that, the future is headed? And, leave your thoughts below.